say they don't make them like they used to, Robert. I think you did, and then some, with this picture. You've made a real, it's a compelling movie that I think appeals to contemporary audiences, but is a real throwback to the kinds of movies they used to make in Hollywood. What was your intention here? This is a true story, I guess, or based on a true story.
Yeah, I believe it's based on a true story, loosely based. No, my intention was just, I was just inspired by the screenplay. I read the screenplay, Stephen Knight's, beautiful screenplay, and, that's what, the sort of the style of the movie just was inspired by that. It came off the page.
It's in Casablanca. It's got all those exotic locations, London during the war. It's very difficult to recreate that. You can't really find those kind of locations. How did you shoot this?
Well, we have the wonderful digital tools now, so we can create set extensions and sand dunes and all that stuff digitally now. So that's how we did most of it.
Brad, I love this character, Max. I mean, it must have been just a gift when you got the script and read this, because he's such an interesting guy. What attracted you to the idea here of playing Max in this period of time?
Well, originally I met Stephen Knight. We had met a long time ago when I was doing a little zombie movie, and he was telling me this story.
That would be World War Z.
That would be that one. And he was telling me this story that had been passed down in his family, and he was going to write this thing. So it's something I stayed close with, and paid attention to. We stayed in communication about, and he put the script together. Him and with Graham King supporting him, put the script together relatively quickly. And before I knew it, Mr. Zemeckis was on board, and I want to say something about how this film was shot, because the real fun for us, I mean, usually it's trucks going to locations, but this, because of the style and temperature of the film, and Bob's, was at the forefront of technology. We shot this it was like a throwback to the old 40s films where you see people in cars and you see the rear screen and they're just sitting on a set doing this. It was actually a lot of that done in the soundstage and seamlessly blended, and that was a really fun experience for us to do, and I don't think it lent itself to this story particularly well, and I don't think we would have got to do that without Bob at the forefront of this.
I actually had no idea when I was watching it that it was mostly shot on a soundstage. The outside sequences and everything, the rain, all of that, it looks so authentic. I mean, it really is amazing what you can do today. Some of those old 40s movies you're referring to, you can tell they were shot on the back lot somewhere, Warner Brothers. Not this one.
Yeah, the trick was to make it feel like we were making a 40s movie, but make it look completely photoreal using today's technology.
So what was it like getting to work with Marianne Cotillard, who I just told you, I mean, in case you don't know it, the camera loves you, and it's is this a role that you were born to play? I mean, do you feel that this is something that you had to play?
I've been lucky enough to explore many genres, many different universe of directors, and this one is very particular for me because I never had this like princess's dreams when I was a kid. I really wanted to be an actress, but this is kind of my princess dream as a kid coming true, because I was dreaming in front of those old movies. I was a big fan of Audrey Hepburn and Greta Garbo and all the glamour of this era.
I can absolutely see that, and I would throw in the name Ingrid Bergman too. into that
Yeah.
mix. There's a scene where you're wearing a hat there that could be Audrey Hepburn, could be Ingrid Bergman. You know, a great costume design in this movie. What was it like to get into these kinds of outfits? And
We had many fittings for this movie because most of the outfits were made on us. And that was a great joy to go there each time, because to discover what they had with Joanna Johnson, what they had thought about, what they had dreamt about for this character. And so, in a way, for me, it was very, very exciting.
yeah, you can applaud the costumes. And while you're at it, applaud the production design too, because that's pretty damn good too.
And the cinematography, and the editing, and the score. You know, I had an amazing team of our longtime collaborators, and they did a fantastic job.
You've worked with the same people for a long time now. You have your own little group here that, and you obviously are comfortable with that, and it's worked out.
Yeah. When you have a shorthand with your key, your key artists that you're working with, it just is great because we kind of know what we're thinking, and things move a lot more efficiently, and we do stuff that I think is always striving to be inspired.
Now, Marianne, everyone knows you're French. You know you're French. You speak French. We believed you speaking French. Brad, I never knew you could speak French that well.
My French
Can
was
you?
smoking. Admit it.
It was perfect.
But it was a very particular. It's a very particular kind of accent and kind of, you're a Canadian in this, and so you're speaking like out of Quebec, basically, a kind of Quebec French here, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So.
Yes.
We had hours of conversation about the specifics of the French accent. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how many hours we had talking about that.
Because you're working opposite a great French star who's, it's going to be tested here once this gets to France.
Yeah, I started on her English. I'm just saying.
Okay. Talk about the supporting cast here. This is beautifully cast down the line here. Jared Harris.
Jared,
yeah. How'd you put the cast together here?
Just the tried and true process of collecting ideas for people, working closely with Nina Gold, who was our casting director, and us collaborating, throwing ideas, and it's just that process of being inspired by the screenplay, and then the actor comes in, and then a lot of times you meet them and you just know that they're right, and sometimes they read, and that works for you too, and it's just that process.
Lizzie Kaplan.
Lizzie
was
Kaplan,
terrific.
yeah.
in
She's
this, too.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of research do you have to do, though, to play these kinds of characters? Did you do any special research into this, since there was an element of truth to what you were doing here?
Because the film was a throwback, that there was a, with this romantic thriller aspect to it. I guess I'm trying to say it felt more fantasy than reality, and I mean that in a good way, in a nice way. That so the approach was more really going on the ride, and it was about the execution of it all, which was completely foreign to the way we usually make films, and less about, the preparation I've had to do on other characters.
What about for you, Marianne, in playing her? She's a heartbreaking character, particularly when you get to the end. It's a movie you don't want to know too much about before you go to see, because there's so many twists and turns. You only want to know the basics, but when you're playing this French Resistance person who may be something else.
No, I didn't. I mean, I didn't do researches that certain movies require, but I needed to invent her life, everything we don't know about her.
You and Brad and the rest of the cast have rehearsal time here. You've got great chemistry. Everybody here is completely believable, and you have great chemistry on screen together. It's a very believable kind of story, the way you're playing it out here. Did you have prep time before Robert started being a slave driver and getting this movie made?
Well, yeah, that's really amazing when you have this time. We worked for more than 2 weeks, I think, and it's a great thing because you can, see how the other actor works and just get to know each other. And we had an amazing time with the writer, with Grand King, Steve Knight, and Bob, talking about the movie, about our feelings, about where we wanted to go. So, and we had dance lessons.
Yes, right?
Well, it tells a lot about a person.
Really? How about the plane? I wanted to ask about the Lysander plane that you had in this. Is that an actual one? Because
they don't. No, I think there's I think the only flying ones are actually in Canada. But that is a perfect replica that we had designed, and we only actually made one airplane for the whole movie. And the one that Brad is piloting, that's the one that is the replica.
And what did you learn to do flying that kind of plane?
I fly pretty well, don't I?
Yeah, you do. That was good. Any special prep for that?
Yeah, special effects.
All roads lead back to special effects here.
They do. It's all
Could you
illusion.
turn the fan
it's
on?
all illusion. Yeah. That's all illusion.
Congratulations, guys, on a terrific film. And it opens November 23rd, right? November 23rd.